Okay, we're going to get the seal out of there. So I'm going to use this dowel to hold the axle out of the way, wedge it right in there. I'll move the axle over, and I'm going to use this impact with a blunt chisel to push out the seal. Alright, we'll just push that old seal out. Look at that. That thing is really in there. We're going to partially it out. I think we can get a screwdriver in there now and just pry it out. And here's the seal. Not much left of it. Now the next thing we got to do is we've got to clean the surface where the bearing goes in, right here. And even the flat surface. Alright, she's all clean. Now what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put a little grease right where, a little bit on the splines and where the bearing goes in. And the reason I'm doing this is we live in New England, and things tend to just bond themselves in there. And especially if you're going to have this car for a long time, you might be taking this off in the future, and this will make it a lot easier. Okay, let's put the bolts in. Now on the bolts, we want to put some Loctite after we put the shield on. Loctite on the bolts. Now these bolts right here hold the bearing in place. Now the bearing should just slide on the splined axle here. Now we want to draw the bolts in by hand. Make sure we don't cross thread them. Now when we tighten the bolts up, we want to try to draw them in evenly. Alright, let's put the axle nut on. Now what I'm going to do here is put a little brake grease on the hub where the rotor goes onto, because I've seen a lot of these just bond themselves right on there. Sometimes they can almost be impossible to get off. So just a little grease right there. We don't want to overdo it. Put our rotor in place. Now we'll hold the rotor in by one nut, preferably on the bottom. And that will line it up so we can slide our caliper on. Now the caliper is held on by 2 bolts. Now remember, when you get this all together and you got your tire back on the ground, make sure that you pump your brakes. So you pull the caliper, the pads, back in against the rotor. You don't want to go down the driveway and step on your brake and then the thing go right to the floor. That would ruin your day right there. Alright, all we got to do now is put the tire in the wheel back on and take it off the jack. So that's all there is to replacing a wheel bearing on your General Motors Impala or Grand Prix.